Welcome to This Week in Colorado Soccer, another at-home edition. Eric Poloni, joined today by head coach Danny Sanchez. Coach, today we're going to reflect on the foreign tour to France last summer, Women's World Cup. A lot of things going on, a lot of culture. This time last year, we were shaking off the rust from an overseas flight, trying to find our bags and read signs in French.
Yeah, and I want to give a shout out to you and your lovely wife, our director of operations, Gabby Poloni, as this is your anniversary. So a year ago on your anniversary, we were leaving as well. It was a lot of work and preparation that went into it, but it couldn't have turned out any better.
This time last year, the first dose of culture after we found our way out of the airport was the Eiffel Tower. Took the team down there and they wandered around a little bit. Talk a little bit about kind of what they saw and some of the culture that they saw there in France.
We jumped right into it. The original plan was maybe head to the hotel, but I'd never been to Paris. Most of the players hadn't been there, so we jumped right into it and went straight to like I said, the Eiffel Tower. And fortunately for me, my wife Beth and my youngest son Drew was with us as well. So we got to roam around, and Drew got to juggle in front of the Eiffel Tower. We got some cool pictures, and the players started to immerse themselves in the culture of Paris and tourism. So we spent a good 4 or 5 hours there right off the bat, and then when the lights came on the Eiffel Tower at night, it's just spectacular.
Went to the first game for the U.S. women's national team. They played Thailand. It was 13-0, a bit of a blowout, but still an experience that everybody I think was very impressed by and still talks about to this day.
Oh, it was awesome. The bus ride, I think it was about 2 or 3 hours from our hotel. Lots of traffic in Paris, so probably should have been 45 minutes, but we got there plenty of time, and the players were pumped up, and most had never been to a World Cup match, women or men. So it was great, great environment, great atmosphere. 99% USA supporters, and I think the U.S. made a little bit of statement there that they were there for business to score goals and to win the World Cup, and as we know, that happened. But and great day for all of us. Just spectacular. And then seeing a lot of people from Colorado and seeing other college teams there. It felt like you were back in the States, but it was a fantastic day.
And then, of course, wrapping up the trip in Paris, the bus played 3 games while they were in France in total. They won all 3 games. I think one of the highlights was the side trip to Versailles. We'll talk a little bit about the games that the bus played, but the side trip to Versailles was a big highlight for the players.
Oh, it was beautiful. It didn't start off beautiful. A little rainy at the beginning, and I was too cheap to buy an umbrella, so I pretty much just stole the freshmen's umbrellas. But eventually, we got in. The sun came out, and just the history of the place was fantastic. And you walk out in the back, and you see the gardens that just seem to go forever. I wish we had more time. By the time you get through the palace, which is big, and you get outside, it's just unbelievable, once in a lifetime experience for the players. They got a lot of good photo ops, but I actually took a little bit of culture from it as well, and stuff that maybe I'll never get to see again in my life. So it was a beautiful day.
The Hall of Mirrors was my favorite part. That was pretty impressive. Just one big long
Yes,
Hall of Mirrors, properly named. And then,
yes.
of course, change of scenery, went down to Montpellier, little beach time, and a little bit more relaxing. But and the city itself was amazing. And then saw another World Cup match there, Australia versus Brazil. The players got to see Marta. Not only did they get to see her play, they got to see her score a goal for her country. It was that was probably, and that was the better game, certainly, of the two that we had seen. But talk a little bit about that experience down there.
Yeah, Montpellier is maybe a little bit more my speed, a beach town, but has a really cool downtown. Like you said, the match we went to, with Marta and Sam Kerr, are arguably the best women's soccer player in the world right now. Just an end-to-end match. Both teams were leaving it all on the field. It was a fantastic match, great atmosphere, and right in town, like you said. And then, like you said, you had a little bit. You still had a lot of culture there, but you also had the beach. I think JJ is still recovering from falling asleep on the beach with her sunburn. Hopefully, she's recovered out in Norway now. But it was a great time there. A lot to see as well. Probably my favorite part of the trip was there, and then when we went down even further south to play our last match.
And then, of course, great segue, Coach. The 3 matches that the Buffs played. Um, the competition, it was their off season, so maybe not exactly the toughest of competition, but great opportunity for some of the freshmen to get some playing time, for everybody just to kind of play and have some fun. Talk about the matches and what the team got out of that.
Yeah, we've always said I've done this with Metro State and Wyoming, and now with CU a couple times. The matches are important, but the bonding, the culture, the once in a college experience trip. That's really what it's about. The soccer is maybe a little bit secondary, but yeah, I mean the first match wasn't the toughest match we'll ever face. We didn't put it on them like we did like Thailand, US to Thailand. The next two matches were a lot better, competitive. I thought we scored some good goals, and I thought we really started building momentum as we prepare for the fall. And then the last game, down there, where basically we could almost touch Barcelona. We felt like it, where we've been in the past. But a great game. Obviously, the highlight of that game was my son Drew running the line. Not really keeping up with the play, but good enough. Some controversial calls, but a beautiful setting down there. Wind and palm trees and a breeze, and the soccer was good. We scored a lot of goals, didn't give up any goals. Nobody got hurt, and it was a great kind of precursor for the 2019 season.
Coach, just looking forward, obviously, huge momentum for women's soccer coming off the Women's World Cup last year, obviously, with them winning the NWSL, which obviously isn't happening right now because of the coronavirus pandemic and whatnot. But they're going to put together a tournament in Utah with all of the teams kind of in a round robin affair. Aaron Greening, Taylor Korniak, great opportunity for them with Orlando Pride. Just talk a little bit about what they're doing and how that's going to help the game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a bit of a speed bump, but I think the way that the women's soccer is growing all over the world, it is just a speed bump. There'll be a little bit of hits, but just like Major League Baseball and NFL and NBA, WNBA, everybody's getting a piece of it. But I'm glad that they were able to do this, and I'm glad that Real Salt Lake, even though as Colorado Rapids supporters, we're not huge fans of theirs, but their owner did step up to help support this tournament, like you said, and hopefully the tournament and everything kind of opens up a little bit and they can play a little bit more of their season after. But for Taylor, whose professional career has been put on hold for a little bit, she's been in Orlando for quite a while training. I know she's chomping at the bit to get rolling, and that all starts I think June 25th or so. I think Orlando's first game is June 27th, so end of June. So it's just right around the corner. All the teams are training, and I'm super excited. CBS is picking up most of the games, so they'll be on TV. So I hope they pipe in some noise like they do in the German Bundesliga matches. But I'm excited to see Taylor, and obviously Aaron had a great first year with Orlando, and the team's much improved. So they're seated ninth in the tournament. There's only 9 teams, so there's only one way to go is up, and I think they might surprise some people out there in Salt Lake.
Coach, just looking ahead, 2020 season, obviously there's still some uncertainty out there, working on getting the student athletes back on campus. But all in all, I think big picture, what do you see for this season, whatever it may be?
I think everyone just in general are being more positive every day. I think Rick George and everybody, they put in a really good plan to slowly start bringing the student athletes back, and our players will start matriculating back to Boulder. Some are already here, and hopefully by July we're kind of in full swing working out with our strength coach Travis and getting ready for preseason. But all indications right now are we're going to get rolling beginning of August, and we're going to get the Colorado Cup going August 15th in an exhibition game at Air Force. So all signs point towards that. I hope everybody's staying safe and being smart, and everyone is being cautious. But right now, I think I feel a lot more optimistic. I think everybody does than we were a couple months ago for sure. So hopefully it plays out, and whatever happens. I think we're just at the point, like everybody's like, we just want to play. Obviously, everybody wants to win, but I think everybody just wants to kind of get back to normalcy. And normalcy for us is running a lot of print up and getting tired and pushing our student athletes to be the best people they can be. And I know our players are dying to get back and get going.
Well, I'm excited to watch some games again, and I'm thankful that I don't have to do any of that running at print up because that just sounds exhausting. Well, Coach, thanks for joining us. It was great to reminisce about France. That was a really memorable trip. You can follow the Buffs all season, cubuffs.com/soccer, and hopefully we'll see you in about 30 days.